Hey everybody! So on the video that I posted a couple days ago, something briefly popped in my head I was going to talk about, but then I realized, hey, if I talk about it, it's probably going to be like a 20-minute video, and because I could really expand upon it. So I saved it for this one. Now this is how I have, I guess, changed throughout the years in terms of collecting, and what really the inspiration for the movie kind of was a catalyst in that to a degree, actually a major degree. So just briefly, and I don't know, maybe this video is gonna be boring to everybody, but I figured it's a vlog channel, so this is the kind of stuff you talk about. But anyway, when I first started collecting, it really was because of, those of you who saw the movie, it's not far off from that. My grandfather died, real life, and I really always associated the NES and just video games in general up until like PlayStation, but all the early stuff, because it was all over their house. I didn't have one in my house until I was like 16, and I bought my Super Nintendo from when I was working at my first job. But when I was a kid, like, it was all over there. So it's like I cannot think about all that stuff without thinking about them. And so it was a little bit after that I started remembering like all Mario's and the Mega Mans I used to just love as a kid. And I started, I don't know how old was I at this time? Like early 30s, I guess. This is around that time when you start feeling nostalgia for your childhood. So it was perfect timing, right? And so, or maybe it's like late 20s. Maybe like late 20s. I don't remember. I think it was late 20s actually. But I started remembering him, and I started thinking about all those games. I don't know how long that happened after he had passed. It was probably a few years. But I started remembering that and just reminiscing, and I was like, man, I want to go play all those old games again. But I had sold all my old collection from a kid, and or traded it into GameStop, and I don't know, it's gone. The NES stuff anyway. The Super Nintendo stuff, luckily, we still had it at my grandmother's house. But the NES stuff, yeah, I really was starting to miss that stuff. And so I was like, I'm going to go play some ROMs. So I played some ROMs, really started feeling this love and passion for it again. And then I was like, you know what? I want to get the physical stuff. So at that time, I believe, I don't remember exactly how I came across a lot of the early stuff. I know that the Atari, when I got the Atari, because they had an Atari, and I was definitely reminiscing about Atari at that point too, because yeah, that was a big thing, and then television because of Burger Time. So I remember I got a lot of an Atari and like some like 20-30 games, and I think it was like, I don't know, $30 or something like that at some thrift store or something like that. I don't remember exactly, but yeah, it led to like getting an NES, and then I would go on eBay and I'd be like, all right, I'm nice, Mega Man, Castlevania, all the stuff that I remembered playing, I had to have physically. I'm like, I definitely got to have that. And then it started morphing into, oh my God, man, now I need to get all the stuff I rented. Excuse me, I said owned before, like all the stuff that we used to own. I gotta get it, but then I was like, okay, all the stuff that I remember, like renting or going over to a friend's house and playing, like Castlevania and Contra and even Jaws on the NES. I was like, man, I want to get all that stuff. And then it started to, this was over the course of a few years, and then we started the show. Game Chasers, and it was around that time where it kind of started morphing from, I just want to get all just the stuff that I really enjoyed or have nostalgia or memories for, or even just fun. Like you don't necessarily need to have nostalgia for an old game to appreciate it. It could just be like, hey, that's just a fun game, and I never checked it out. Now I want to check it out, and oh crap, this is actually really, really good. So what was something like that for me? Probably Zombies Ate My Neighbors. Yeah, that's one. Not on Super Nintendo, obviously, but it's an example of that kind of thing. Because I was doing NES, I was collecting NES, Super Nintendo, even Sega Genesis, because I didn't have a Genesis growing up. So just all that stuff that I was really into and thought I'd really like. But it was around the show, when the show started happening, it kind of started morphing from that. That never left. Okay, so that's always going to be there, and that will always be there. But then it started getting into, like, you know, there's some really rare stuff on the NES and the Super Nintendo. And when you come across those, like a Little Samson, which is a bad example because Little Samson actually is a good game, and I wouldn't mind owning that even if it was like a $10 game or a $5 game. It's a good game, so I enjoy it. So the reason for wanting to find it isn't strictly because it's this really rare game, but that does apply to other stuff out there. A lot of just really rare, obscure stuff, and it got less about, oh, this is going to be awesome, to more about like, oh, I have this awesome game on my shelf that, or excuse me, I have this expensive, rare, hard to find game on my shelf. It's basically like a treasure hunt, right? It became a treasure hunt, and you kind of get sucked up into that world. You become obsessive, a little over obsessive. I say that I shouldn't say over obsessive, because if that's how somebody wants to go about collecting. I'm not being judgmental or anything like that. Like, I don't like gatekeeping in any realm. so I'm not here saying that this is what you should do. This is just me. This is me. This is how my journey. But I did get into that mentality. I never got to the point though where I felt like, you know, any sort of like air of superiority because I was like, oh, I have this rare game and you don't. I always, at any point, I even got into arguments with people on website forums way back, and made videos on it. There's probably videos on the main channel saying like, yeah, I like the rare stuff, but I don't think that I'm better than that next guy. I mean, what grown adult says, hey, I'm better than you because I have Little Samson or Flintstones too? And that's the most childish. That's as bad as saying, oh, you're a real gamer or you're not a real gamer. Like a middle-aged grown man saying that to somebody in a non-ironic kind of a way as an insult. Some of the most pathetic, childlike, petty bullshit I've ever heard. It permeates through the entire collecting world, right? You get people like that. So there are people that have grouped us in there like that. Oh, they think they're better than anyone else because they got rare games. No, never thought that. It was stupid. That's stupid. That's stupid. Like I said, that's as stupid as calling somebody a real gamer. Well, anyway, I went off on a little bit of a tangent there because I've gotten that kind of stuff for like last decade. Every month I swear I see a comment like that, and it's just, I laugh at it. It's like, okay, you know, think what you want. That's what you got going for you. But anyway, tangent over, back to the point of the video. I've never considered that, like, but I believe what it was the allure of just this treasure hunt of finding something super rare for dirt cheap in just some obscure flea market that's just, this is hard to find. Like, it's like when you're playing like an RPG game and you come across rare items in the game. It's a little exciting. It's like, oh wow, I found something. I found that amulet that's, you know, 1 in a 10,000 chance of finding in the game, or whatever. I think it's fun, and it still is. I'm not saying it's not. Like, I'm not saying that I don't feel that way anymore. I just don't feel as much like that anymore. It's gone to the point where I've learned to detach myself from it a bit. I've learned to actually be able to say, that's not the most important thing. And again, this is just me and my perspective. Anyone can have their own viewpoint of any of this. I'm not here to gatekeep. Just me, I really started to kind of drift back to, I just want the stuff that I really, really like, or really have a lot of nostalgia for. For instance, Bible Adventures, don't really like the game, but I have a lot of nostalgia for it. So I'll keep it, and keep it in the box too. It's pretty cool. So I'm not really into just keeping something on the shelf just because it's rare now. And I guess that's the main way that I have changed. And the movie helped me in two different ways in terms of having that kind of shifting that mentality. You know, when you're sitting there with the script and the story for that long, and you kind of you're reinforcing this, hey, this is what, you know, it's all about in this character's viewpoint. And just briefly on that kind of, you know, that aspect, I hate preachy stuff. Like, I hate movies that preach to you. I hate, for the most part, if it's so over the top. Like, I can't get into the new season of Picard. Like, I couldn't get into the Picard even last year because it just sucked. But this season is even worse because they preach to you, and at the expense of the story, just cram it down your throat. All this crap, and it's just awful. And I can't stand that. You know, it is capable. You are capable. Hey, writers out there, you are capable of writing material, kind of saying what you want to say, but not doing it in a preachy sort of like in your face, you're wrong if you disbelieve, if you have other viewpoints mentality. And I was very cognizant of that during this script writing, because I want it is you can have characters feel a certain way in that particular story. They go through a kind of journey or whatever, but it's not, you know, you're not always necessarily saying that is the right way. It has to be that way. And if you think any other way, you're completely wrong. This particular movie, these characters, this is how I felt, this is how I approach things, and this is what's deep down inside, and this is how I feel. If you feel differently, that's fine. This isn't here to say this is the right way. It's just saying this is this way. And well, God, I forgot what I was talking about because I got on a little bit of more of a tangent. I guess the gist of it all is yeah, I was able to kind of take that. It kind of reinforced my it reminded me, I guess. It reminded me, I was like, okay, why is this stuff important to me? And, you know, I looked over at my game room. I saw that I had some rare stuff that I'm like, am I ever going to play this again because it sucks? Or am I ever going to play this again? It's a good game, but how many more times am I going to play it? Like Power Blade 2. I like it. I like the first one much, much better. Power Blade 2 is okay, but like at the time before the movie, it was like a $400 game. And I'm like, okay, so would I rather have $400 that I could put towards the movie, or $400 literally sitting on the shelf for something I may not even play again for like another year or whatever randomly? And I started thinking about that, and I'm like, you know what? I gotta sell some stuff to kind of help fund this thing. And so I took a lot of what, and I'm sure there's people watching this right now who are at conventions and they bought some of my collection. And if you are, then comment below. Let me know what you got, because I would think that'd be kind of funny. Yeah, it was hard. I mean, it was hard at first letting them go. It's like, because you know, it's hard to rip yourself away from that mentality. This is my stuff that I'm getting rid of. But you know, yeah, it got easier as it went on. You just kind of learn to say goodbye, and hey, we're able to put more money towards the camera and the lenses and stuff because of it. And I think that's okay, because it went to something that was special, in my opinion. And you know, one day maybe I'll run across them again for a few dollars at a flea market. We'll see. But if not, then I mean, they served a purpose. Now, again, I never sold any of my favorite stuff. Like, even if it's rare or not, just because it was rare. Like, I had Action 52, not a great game, but I still have it. It was a gift from Jason Lambert on one of the shows. I kept that, and then other stuff like that. That even though, by the way, he messaged me saying, "Hey, I noticed you like selling stuff for the movie." And it's like, I give you permission to sell this. I'm like, nah, I can't do it. I can't do it. I do still also have a little bit of nostalgia for that one too, because God, I don't know, man. I think I don't know if we rented it, because Jars, they did have unlicensed rentals, because obviously Bible Adventures, but I don't know if we ever rented it, but just some of those games seem so familiar. Maybe I was at some friend's house who just, poor soul, got it for Christmas or something because it had 52 games in it. But that is kind of where I guess I've changed, and that's how the movie kind of, I guess, helped me. Saying helped is, it gives a connotation that I'm doing it the right way now, but I don't want to give that connotation, because again, you may see things differently, because there's all, you know, this is a, you know, in this world, this collecting world, we all kind of view things a little bit differently here and there. So it just helped me kind of see things better from my own perspective. And now I you know, most of my game room is full of just, you know, stuff that either stuff that I really love that's cheap, stuff that I really love or have nostalgia for that's really expensive, or just like random stuff that it's like, well, it's only worth like a couple bucks anyway, so why even go to the trouble of trying to sell it to get cash anyway for the movie. So I mean, at this point I'm done selling. I still have a few things here and there that I'm like, I could probably get rid of, but for the most part, I've pared it down. I still have a lot of stuff. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I still have a lot of stuff, and I'm never gonna like completely get out of it. I'm not gonna be one of these people that sell their entire collection. It's not gonna happen. I guess it's because I'm a real gamer. But yeah, no, that's where I am now. It's more for me. Like, what does this mean for me? I'm not going to. You know, because there's even been episodes in the show where we've been at a store, there's been a game that's kind of semi-rare, hard to find, and I buy it just because it's like, oh, that's cool, I now own this rare game. But the game is like, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm not going to do anymore. If I actually put money towards something that's more than like a few bucks, it's going to be because I really want that. And it's something that I know I'm going to enjoy and I actually want to have, and I'm going to have no intention of ever getting rid of, like all the NES Mega Man games in the box. that's what I'm trying to get, or Atari ST games, or all my favorite stuff that I'm still trying to find in the box. You know, there's still stuff out there that I would love to have, and I just have still yet to be able to come across it at something I want to actually pay, which is hard now because I should have probably got it 2 years ago instead of waiting for now, because now I'm really off. But anyway, yeah, this was you know, damn, 20-minute video.